Yes, Mother?
Is that quite enough reading for one evening?
Oh, Mother, let me go on a little more, please.
No, you put that book away now. You know your father doesn't like you reading too much. Besides, he never reads himself in the evening.
No, but then Father doesn't like reading.
Can you remember how much we paid for butter this morning?
$1.50, I think.
Was it? Oh, we do seem to get through an awful lot of butter in this house.
And don't forget the beer.
No, you're right, beer. Mount up. Still, I suppose we can't manage on any less.
Well, we didn't need anything hot for dinner as Father was out.
What's that, dear? Huh?
We didn't need anything hot for dinner as Father was out.
No. We did save that much. I took $8.50 for photographs this morning.
Did you really, Mother? All that?
$8.50 exactly.
Isn't it lovely to think of Father having dinner at a dinner party at Mr. Verler's?
Mr. Verler didn't ask him, though. But no, he was invited by Gregor's Verler's son.
Oh, well, I do hope he isn't long, because he promised to ask Mrs. Sorby for something nice for me.
Well, there's plenty of good things going in that house, believe me, I know. 15, 17, 21.
And why?
Tell me, how did you like it? Very difficult to find out here.
Not so kind, remarkably sound wine.
Well, I can sort the batch to the one you had today. A most excellent vintage, as no doubt you've all noticed.
Indeed, it had a remarkably delicate flavour. Of course, that was a good year.
Good year, yes.
Does the year matter with Tokayna?
That's a good one.
Well, I'm afraid a good wine is wasted on you, Ekdal.
Tokay and photographs, Mr. Ekdal, have something in common. They both need sunshine, isn't that so?
Yes, no doubt light is very important.
It's very important to some others, too, the sunshine of Port Faber. Is that not so, Chamberlain?
Coffee in the music room, please.
Oh, Mrs. Sorby, that's a very ancient jest.
I don't think any of them have noticed, Gregors.
Noticed one.
You haven't noticed that?
Noticed one.
We're 13 at table.
13?
Yes, we're usually 12. Well, gentlemen, there's coffee and maraschino in the splendid.
Did I hear somebody say coffee and maraschino in the music room? Well, Mrs. Sorby, one bite.
So very sweet, gentlemen.
No, I haven't been. No. You keeping well?
Yeah, what?
You shouldn't have asked me, Gregors.
What? Don't ask my oldest friend to a dinner that's supposed to be in my honour.
Well, I don't think your father was very happy about it. You see, I never do come here.
So I gather. Well, must be 16 or 17 years since we've
Is it
seen
as
each
long as
other.
that?
How have things been with you? You're looking very well. You put on weight.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I've probably filled out a little and look a bit more of a man than I used to.
No doubt about it. The outer man looks very promising.
Oh, yes, but what about the inner man, Gregors? Believe me, that's a very different story. Of course, you know all about the terrible and tragic misfortune which I and my family have had to bear since you and I last met.
How old is your father now?
Well, I'd much rather we didn't discuss it, Gregors. Of course, my poor unfortunate father lives with me now. He has another soul to turn to. Well, tell me about yourself. How have you been getting on up there?
Oh, I've enjoyed the most excellent solitude. Plenty of time to think about things.
All the same, I am grateful to you for inviting me to your father's table. It makes me feel at least that you no longer think badly of me.
Well, how did you get the idea that I ever thought badly
I
of
did
you?
at first, you know.
At first?
Your father told me.
My father. So that was it. That explains why you never wrote to me, not a word. Not even when you decided to become a photographer.
Yes. Well, your father thought it would be better if I didn't write to you about anything.
Yes. Well, that was understandable, I suppose. But how's life with you now? Reasonably satisfactory?
Oh, yes, I've little enough to complain about, really. Of course, things were a bit strange at first. But it was such a completely different life. But then all the circumstances were so different. I mean, my father's hopeless ruin and the shame and degradation of it.
Yes, I know.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, right.
And, of course, naturally, I had to give up my studies. There was no money left. On the contrary, we were up to our eyes in debt, mostly to your father, I believe. So I thought it best to make a clean break with the old life. As a matter of fact, it was largely on your father's advice that I did so. And since he was so generously concerned to help me...
My father was?
Well, sure you knew that. I mean, where would I find the money to study photography, equip a studio, and go into business? I mean, it costs a tidy sum, you know.
Father paid for all that.
Well, but I thought he wrote you and told you about all that.
Never said a word about it to me.
It was really he who enabled me to get married. Or didn't you know about that either?
Not a word.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
I can't tell you how pleased I am to hear all this. Perhaps I misjudged my father in some ways. This at least shows he has a heart, or even a conscience.
A conscience?
Yes, or whatever you like to call it. Yeah.
No, Hedvig.
Just think of all the lovely things Father will be eating. He'll be in such a good mood when he comes home.
I wish we could tell him we'd let the room, though.
We don't need to worry about that.
Well, we'd be better off if we had, wouldn't we? No use to us just standing empty.
No, what I mean is we don't need to worry about it this evening. He'll be in such a good mood anyway. Like this, we can save the room till another time.
You like having good news for your father when he comes in, don't you?
Makes things more cheerful.
Yes, there's something in that, I suppose.
So you're a married man, eh, Ullmann? Well, that's more than I shall ever be able to say for myself. You happily married?
Oh, yes, I've got as cheerful and hard-working a wife as any man could wish for. And she's by no means uneducated, you know.
No, of course not.
Well, of course, life itself is an education. But in her daily intercourse with me or with some of our very cultured friends, you'd hardly know her for the same Gina.
Gina?
Yes, had you forgotten that was her name?
Gina, what Gina?
Well, surely you remember her. She used to work here.
You mean Gina Hansen?
Of course, Gina Hansen.
You mean the girl...
What?
She kept house for us during my mother's last illness.
Yes, I believe so. But you know, Gregg, I could have sworn your father wrote you and told you about my marriage.
Yes, that's right, he did, but I didn't hear him mention it. How'd you come to know her?
Oh, quite simply, everything was in such a muddle owing to your mother's illness and so on that, well, I suppose Gina felt that she couldn't cope with it, so she gave notice and left. That would be about a year before your mother died. Or maybe it was the same year.
It was the same year, I remember distinctly. I was up at the works at the time. What happened then?
Oh, well, Gina went back and lived with her mother. They had a room to let. Rather a nice room it was, and quite comfortable.
And you got it?
Yes, it was your father's idea that I should go there. Well, there you are. That's how I got to know Gina.
Before you knew it, you were engaged, eh?
Well, it's never very difficult for young people to fall in love, is it?
Tell me, when you got engaged, was that when my father... was that when you decided to take up photography?
Yes, both your father and I thought that photography would be the best thing, and so did Gina. You see, by a fortunate chance, Gina knew a little bit about retouching photographs.
That was fortunate.
Yes, wasn't it? Extraordinary piece of luck.
Yes, my father seems to be the sort of fairy godmother to you.
Well, at any rate, he didn't abandon his old friend's son in his hour of need.
Mr. Werner. There's a dear. It's so much better for you not to be in there with all those bright lights. You'll only strain your eyes again, and it's very bad for them.
I think perhaps you're right, my dear. Well, Ekdal, you found something to absorb you. You seem very interested.
This album...
Photographs. That's very much in your line nowadays, isn't it? They can often contribute handsomely to youth's entertainment, you know?
Yes. Haven't you brought any of your own with you?
No, I'm afraid I haven't.
I think you should have photographs enjoyed in a sitting position are very good for the digestion.
Very good for the digestion.
All contributions, thankfully.
What they really mean, Yama, is that when one is invited out to dinner, one must be prepared to do something in return for it.
Especially after a good dinner. Bless me, it should be a pleasure.
Very much join in, Yama.
How can I?
No, after our love.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry to trouble you, but I can't get out.
You locked in again?
I'm very sorry, sir, but I'm afraid Flagstad's gone off with the key.
You can go through that way.
But I have someone with me, sir.
Very well. But hurry up, both of you. Pay no attention to us.
Robert.
Come on, quickly.
Sorry, sorry, the wrong way.
Found that rubber. Now, but the point is...
Give him something to take home with him, something nice.
I'll see to it now. The door's locked. They locked the office. Surely that couldn't have been.
Who was that?
Oh, nobody, just the bookkeeper.
Well,
No, that
him?
I'm afraid I didn't notice.
Gregors, won't you join us?
Really?
Yes.
You stood there and denied
What
knowing
else
him.
could
Your
I
own
do?
father.
Gregors, put yourself in my place.
Ekdal, how about giving us one of your recitations? You used to be quite good at it.
I'm afraid I don't remember anything.
What a pity. What shall we all do?
Look, Gregors, I think if you don't mind, I'll go now. Will you thank your father and make my apologies?
Yes. Are you going straight?
You're not going.
Yes, right, yes, I really
I thought I
must.
might look in later.
Oh,
Very well then, but remember me to Gina.
Yes, I'm...
And tell her that I'll be coming to see her.
Naturally. No, don't come to my house, Gregors. It's such a dreary place, especially after all this abundance. Look, we'll meet somewhere in town. Why don't you go back to your guests and I'll slip out quietly.
Well, did you take care of him?
Yes, madam. I sent him off with a bottle of cognac.
Couldn't you have done any better than that?
I don't think so, madam. It's what he likes best.
Are you ready, Mrs. Sorby? Shall we play our duet now?
By all means. Good idea. What should we play?
Can't wait to grab those.
Did they give you some more copies to grab from?
Oh, that's good.
And you've got another parcel in your pocket.
Nothing at all. I've got plenty to keep me busy here, and I'll be busy for some time.
Found her way into her own nest.
Oh, do you think it'd be warm enough for her grandfather?
Warm enough? Oh, my goodness me. She'd be warm enough in all that straw.
Yes, I was in Russia for 6 months.
Father?
Yes,
Can I just have a word with you?
Can't we wait for some more private occasion?
I think not. There may never be such an occasion.
What do you mean?
How could you let that family go to the dogs like that?
I presume you mean the Ekdals?
Lieutenant Ekdal was one of your closest friends.
Far too close, as it turned out. I've been paying for it for years. Thanks to him, my reputation, yes, mine, has been permanently damaged.
Are you quite certain that it was entirely his doing?
What do you mean?
You and he were working together in that forestry deal.
Listen, Ekdal did the survey and drew the map. He alone gave the order for the felling of the timber. I hadn't the slightest suspicion it was government property.
Nor, I fancy, had Lieutenant Ekdal.
He came out of prison a broken man. There are some creatures who, when they get a couple of shots in the body, dive straight to the bottom and never come out again. Tell you, Gregers, I've done everything possible for the man, short of laying myself open to suspicion and doubt.
Suspicion? Oh, yes, I did.
Given Ekdal copying to do for the office and paid him far more than the job's worth.
Oh, I've no doubt about that.
You smile as though you had. Naturally. I can't show you in the books. Never enter payments of that kind.
No, disbursements of that kind are best left unrecorded.
What precisely do you mean by that?
Did you enter the amount you had Hjalmar Ekdal paid to have him taught photography?
Why should I enter it?
Because you paid for it. You set him up in business.
And you can say I've done nothing for the Ekdals?
You wrote to me about that time. Business letter, naturally. And in a brief postscript, you mentioned that Hjalmar Ekdal had married a certain Miss Hansen.
That's perfectly correct. That was her name.
Yes, but you didn't mention that she was in fact our former housekeeper, Gina Hansen.
Certainly never occurred to me that you'd be passionately interested in our former housekeeper.
I wasn't. There was obviously somebody else in the house who was.
You mean me, don't you?
Yes, weren't you?
That damn photographer crawling in here with his...
Hjalmar never even implied such a thing. I don't believe he had the pleasure idea.
Hi, your mother. I might have guessed
Poor
it.
unhappy mother.
She
She told
always
me.
stuck
The
together.
last time I saw her.
She who first turned you against me.
Not she, but all she had to endure. All the shame
She
and
never
humiliation
suffered any more than anybody
Such
else.
a miserable end.
You can't do anything with morbid, neurotic creatures. I know all about that. And you can go digging up all sorts of ancient rumors against your own father. Really, Gregers, I should have thought at your age you'd have found something better to do.
I agree, it's time I did.
You know, I know you better than you think. And why you go slogging away up at the works like some common clerk. You want to be independent. You don't want to be indebted to me for anything. Very well. So happens the opportunity occurs for you to gain such independence. To be your own master once and for all.
Indeed.
I'm proposing to offer you a partnership in the firm. Oh, it needn't
I
involve our seeing much of each other. You can take charge of the business here in town, and I can move out to the works.
You at Hoydar?
Truth is, Gregers, I'm not so well equipped for the work as I used to be. I have to spare my eyes as much as possible. They've been troubling me a lot lately.
I always have.
Well, a lot worse now. In certain circumstances, it might be desirable for me to live there. At any rate, for a time.
Well, sounds like being credible.
Listen to me, Gregers. I know we profoundly disagree about a number of things, but we are father and son. I do think it should be possible for us to come to some sort of agreement.
There's something behind all this. I think you want to make use of me.
The fact... What do you mean, make use of you? Two men so closely connected can always be of use to each other.
That's what they say.
The fact is, Gregers, I'd greatly appreciate it if you were to come home to me for a time. I'm a lonely man, my boy, and I need companionship.
You have Mrs. Sorby.
It's true. In many ways, she's become indispensable to me. She's pleasant and cheerful and good-tempered. The house is a better place because of her, and that's just what I need.
In that case, surely you've already found what you want.
Unfortunately, it can't last. In such circumstances, a woman often finds herself in a false position in the eyes of the world.
Are you thinking of marrying her?
If I were, would you be entirely opposed to it?
Oh, no. No, I certainly shouldn't.
Or perhaps with your devotion to your mother's memory.
Oh, well, I'm not neurotic.
Well, whether you are or not, you've certainly taken a great load off my mind. I'm relieved to think I have your approval.
Now I understand what use you have for me. Why it was so urgently necessary for me to come to town. You wanted me to provide a family background for the benefit of Mrs. Sorby.
How dare you adopt such a term?
The absent son returns on wings of filial piety, just in nice time to see the aging papa's wedding breakfast. Then what happens to those inconvenient rumours about the poor dead mother and all she had to put up with?
You detest as much as me, Gregers.
Oh, no, I've seen you under too close quarters.
Yes, but through your mother's eyes, and remember, her vision was not always unclouded.
Who brought Mother to that state of mind? Only you and your... The last one was that woman you palmed off on Hjalmar Ekdal after you'd done with that.
That's your mother. Almost word for word.
And there he is, with the simple trust of a child, living under the same roof with a creature like that, little suspecting that what he calls a home is built upon a lie. And when I look back on all you've done, I see only a battlefield strewn with broken lives.
You know, I think the gulf between us is altogether too wide.
I agree, that's why I'm going. Look, Father. You see what game Mrs. Sorby's playing with your guests?
Did you want anything in the kitchen, Grandpa?
No, that's all. Don't you bother. Come in.
He's never raking out the fire, surely. Oh, go and see what he's up to, Hedvig. There's a good girl.
Did you want some hot water?
Yes. I got some writing to do, and that ink's as thick as porridge.
All right, Grandpa, only do eat your supper first. It's all ready for you there on the tray.
Time for supper. I've got plenty to do without supper. And see that I'm not in the rush.
I wonder where he got the money from. Back already?
Fancy you being home so early.
Well, most of the other guests were leaving, so I thought
Here, let me give you...
I'd come on
Me
there.
too. Oh, were there lots of people there?
Oh, not so very many. We were, what, 12 or 14 at table, I suppose.
Oh, and did you talk to all of them?
Well, I had a little word to say to each, but Gregors wanted me to himself most of the time.
Is he still as gloomy as ever?
Oh, he looks much the same. Has, Father come back yet?
He's in there, writing.
Did he have anything to say?
No, nothing in particular. Why?
Oh, he didn't mention... I heard something about him being with Grauberg.
I shouldn't go in there if I were you, young one.
Why? Did he actually say he didn't want me to?
No, I don't think he wants anybody in there tonight. He came out just now and got himself some hot water.
Oh, I see. Oh, poor old man. Well, he might as well enjoy himself while he can.
You come out to roost, eh? What's that, your voice in there?
Oh, I just got in, Father.
No, didn't see me, I don't suppose.
No, but they told me you'd left, so I decided to follow on after you.
Very considerate of you. What are all those people supposed to be?
Oh, they were a very mixed bag. There was Chamberlain Floor and Balder and Chamberlain somebody else and one, two...
Listening to all this, Gina.
That's very grand up.
They'll give recitations.
Oh, no, they talk a lot of rubbish most of the time. They wanted me to recite, but I refused.
You refused to be drawn, eh?
Yeah, I do think you might have done really.
Nonsense. One doesn't always do as one is asked. At least I don't.
Yama's got a mind of his own, yeah.
Why should I bother to entertain half society just because I happen to go out once in a while? Let them exert themselves. Why should I always exert myself? They've nothing better to do than to go from house to house and table to table every night. I mean, they should be grateful for all the free food they get and do something in return.
You didn't tell them that, did you,
They had
surely?
a great deal to hear, I can tell you.
Even the Chamberlains, huh?
Well, they were there, weren't they? Oh, yes, and then there was a rather amusing little discussion about Tokai.
Tokai, that's a wine worth drinking, yeah?
Not always, Father. It depends. It depends on how much sunshine the grapes have had.
They didn't disagree with you about that, though.
Oh, well, they try to, but they were told it's just the same with Chamberlains. Some are of a good vintage and others indifferent.
Put that in the pipe and smoke it,
Yeah, straight to their faces.
No, take their faces together, Gina. The Chamberlains' faces,
Their
yeah.
faces, just fancy. Oh, yeah,
Yeah, but that's between ourselves. One doesn't repeat.
Straight to their faces. Well, I don't know.
It's wonderful to see you in dress coat, and it suits you splendidly.
Yes, I don't think it's too bad. It's a little tight under the arms, perhaps. Give me a hand, Hedvig. I think I'll put on my old jacket. Do you know where it is, Gina?
Here you are, dear.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, and that's to go back to Malvik first thing in the morning.
Yes, dear, I'll see to it.
That's more like it. Yes, I think loose-fitting clothes are more suited to my easygoing personality, don't you, Hedvig?
Yes, I do really.
Especially when I loosen my tie like this and leave the ends free.
That's perfect, and it goes so much better with your moustache. And those nice curly bits.
Curly? Yes, I should have thought wavy would describe them better.
Wavy. Or curly.
Wavy?
Father,
Well, what is it?
you know perfectly well what it is.
No, really, I don't.
Oh, Father, do stop pretending. Where are they? All the nice things you promised to bring me. Remember? Where did you put them?
Bless me if I haven't gone and forgotten
Father,
all
do
about
stop teasing.
them.
It is naughty of you.
No, truly.
Where did you hide them?
I forgot. Perhaps I didn't quite forget. I'll have a look. Maybe I have got something for you, Hedvig.
Oh, Mother.
There you are, you see. Just give him time.
Oh. Oh, yes, here it is.
That's only a bit of old card.
Oh, no, Hedvig, it's much more than that. It's the bill of fare, the menu. You see here, it's written right across the top here, menu. That means bill of fare, what there is to eat.
But didn't you bring anything else?
I told you I forgot all about the other things. Anyway, you may take my word for it. Such delicacies are hardly worth eating. Now you come and sit at the end of the table here and read out the names of the dishes, and I'll see if I can remember how each of them tasted. You'll like that.
Thank you.
Oh, now, really, it's absurd. The number of things that a father of a family is supposed to remember. He's only got to forget the most insignificant item, and he's treated to nothing but black cloaks and long faces. Did you go in there tonight, Father?
Yes, I did. When I got home. And she found her way to her nest.
She found her own way. I thought she must be getting used to it.
I told her she was. But, you know, there are a lot of things to be done there.
All those little improvements.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we run through them now? Let's make ourselves comfortable on the sofa.
Yes, well,
and we can...
I'll just fill my pipe and I'll give you the book when I'm done.
Leaving Mr. Hyde.
Yes, I know, Gina. Leave him to it. Yes, I suppose we might as well get all those little improvements out of the way tomorrow.
I don't see where you're going to find the time tomorrow, yeah?
Yes, you will, Mother.
There are all these photographs to be retouched. They've been sending round for them again and again.
All these prints, infernal prints. Well, I'll soon get those done. Any new orders this afternoon?
No such luck. And tomorrow I've only got those 2 coming I told you about.
Is that all? I suppose if people won't make an effort. And I suppose nobody's called to look at the room either.
Not so far, they haven't.
What else do you expect if people won't put themselves out? You really must make an effort, Gina.
Shall I get your flute, Father?
Huh? Yeah, no, I don't think you'd better. The pleasures of this world are not for me. Work. Nothing but work. That's my lot. Well, tomorrow I'll work. You see if I
didn't
don't.
mean it like that, Yelma.
Let me get some beer, then.
No. No, I want nothing. Nothing, Hedvig, thank you. Nothing for me. Nothing at all. Did you say beer?
Yes, Father. Lovely, cool, beautiful, bubbly beer.
Well, since you're so pressing, perhaps just one bottle.
Yes, so you do that. Then we'll make ourselves nice and comfy.
Oh, Hedvig, my little darling.
Oh, dear, darling Father.
Now, you mustn't call me that. I don't deserve it. Here have I been sitting at the rich man's table, gorging myself at the festive board, and I couldn't even remember to bring you.
Oh, now, Yama, don't talk so silly.
No, but it's not silly. For all that, you mustn't think badly of me, Hedvig, because I do love you, you know, dearly.
And we love you too, Father. Oh, so much. So very much.
No beer tonight, no. Bring me my flute. That's it. My flute in my hand, and you two beside me. This place may be poor and humble, Gina, but it is home. And I want you to know that my real happiness is always here. There's always something.
I beg your pardon.
Oh.
Doesn't Mr. Ekdal, the photographer, live here?
Yes, he does, yes.
Is that you, Gregors? I thought I recognized your voice, but it is a pleasant surprise. Come in.
Well, I told you I might come along.
Yes, but I hardly expected to see you this evening. Have you left the party?
Not only the party, I've left my father's house. Good evening, Mrs. Ekdal. I suppose you recognize me.
Oh, yes, of course I recognize you, Mr. Gregors.
I resemble my mother, I believe. And of course you remember her.
Did you say you left the party?
Yes, I've gone to an hotel.
Really? Well, well, now you're here. Come in, take off your coat, sit down.
So, this is your home, eh?
Yes, it's also the studio, as you can see. We did have a more luxurious place, but this one has the great advantage of having some of these spare rooms.
Yes, we've even got one we can let across the passage.
So you let rooms too, do you?
Well, not so far. Good tenants aren't so easy to come by. In fact, if you want them, you have to be prepared to make a bit of an effort. Now, what happened to that beer, Hedvig?
Your daughter?
Yes, that's Hedvig.
Your only child?
Yes, our only child, our greatest joy, and I grieve to say our deepest sorrow, Gregors.
Oh? In what way?
Well, she's in immediate danger of losing her sight.
She's going blind.
Yes, but it's only in its early stages so far. It may be some time before she realizes it herself, poor child. However, according to the doctor, and he's warned us, it's quite inevitable.
Oh, how terrible for you both. How did it happen?
Well, it's hereditary, I'm afraid.
Hereditary?
My husband's mother had very weak sight.
Well, so my father told me. I don't remember.
Poor child. How did she take it?
Of course, we haven't had the courage to tell her anything. She hasn't the faintest inkling. I mean, she's as happy as a lark, singing about the house all day and fluttering her way into never-ending night. I mean, it's a terrible cross for me to bear, Gregors. Was it bread and butter? No, I don't think we want any bread and butter, unless, of course, you care for some, Gregors.
No, not for me, thank you.
Well, perhaps just a couple of slices then. Or, Hedvig, you've just got a little old crust. That'll do nicely for me. And plenty of butter.
She seems quite well in other respects. How old is she now?
Oh, she's 14. As near as makes no matter.
Tall.
It's her birthday tomorrow.
Tall for her age, isn't she?
Oh, yes. She's shot up something wonderfully this past 12 months.
Certainly makes one realize one's own age to see these youngsters growing up. Let me see now. You two have been married how long is it now? It must
we
be...
were married in, why, it's 15 years?
Is it really as long as that?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
sit down.
Our father, we have a guest. I don't know if you remember Gregors Verle.
No, it's just my boy. That sounds better. Must be his son. What's he got with me?
Not you, Father. He has come to see me.
There's nothing the matter again.
No, nothing's wrong.
Nothing will wrap with the was it? I'm afraid of nothing only.
I bring you greetings from your old hunting grounds, Lieutenant Ekdal, that's all.
What was
You remember the forest at Hoydal and the works?
Oh, yes. I knew I'd be sticking those forests.
Yes, you were a great sportsman in those days.
Fact, I believe you. What's that, your eye? My cap? Look, I can wear it at home if I want to, as long as I don't take it out with me and nobody sees me. What's the matter?
Have a glass of beer, Father. Help yourself, Gregors.
Do you remember, Lieutenant Ekdal, how Ullmann and I used to come up to the works during the holidays, sometimes at Christmas?
No, I don't. I remember the bears. I used to shoot them all hours, day and night. Hundreds of them. I was a very good shot. I shot 9 bears.
I don't suppose you get any shooting now.
Oh, you don't know. I get some shooting. Not in the old forest. Yes. Well, how are yours up there now?
No, not what it was, I'm afraid. They've been thinned out a good since your time.
Oh, that's dangerous. Things thinning out trees in the forest. Things come out of them. Forests get their own
Why
back.
don't you have some more beer, Father?
I can't think how an open-air man like you, Lieutenant Ekdal, can bear to live cooped up within 4 walls in the middle of a stuffy town like this.
Oh, yes, not bad at all.
Yes, but what about the woods and the hills, the animals and birds,
Shall we let him see it?
No, Father. Not this evening.
Why, what is it he wants me to see?
Oh, it's nothing really. Some other time, perhaps.
You know, Lieutenant Ekdal, I'm bound to be going back to the works fairly soon. Now, why don't you come along with me? Yeah. I'm sure there'll be plenty of copying for you to do up there. Anyway, a man for you, like you, who's always answered the call of the wild.
Yeah, no, he's got to see it.
Father, what's the point? It's so dark.
Dark and bosh, what's wrong with the moon? I say he's got to see it. Out of my way, Oliver.
Oh, Father, do let him, please.
Oh, very well.
Come help me.
What have they got up there?
Well, you mustn't expect marbles.
Right. Now, step right inside.
This is all Father's department, you understand, Gregor.
You keep poultry, Lieutenant Ekdal.
I shouldn't be at all surprised. They're having a good roost now, but you should see him in the morning.
And we've got some...
They're not so fast. Keep me waiting.
Pigeons, too.
We have, yes. They like to nest as high as they can get in the rooftop.
Yes. Do you mean so you keep rabbits as well?
Well, what do you think the hatches are for? Why would we be without rabbits? But you ask if we keep rabbits. Hey! But now, the real thing. How does I like it?
Isn't it a duck?
Of course it.
Well, what sort of a duck is it, Gregors?
It's not just an ordinary sort of duck.
Shh, quiet there.
Well, certainly not a Turkish duck.
No, Mr. Vella, my boy. It's not a Turkish duck. It's a wild duck.
Really? Wild duck?
Yes, that bird, as you call it, is a live wild duck. Ah, wild duck.
My wild duck. She's mine.
She manages to thrive out here.
How could you want us to splash about to what she wants to?
The water's changed every other day, Gregors.
Bedtime.
Well, that means lights out. Oh, well, perhaps it's just as well to get a good night's sleep. Go on ahead, big down. Push. Never mind. Next time, you'll have a proper look, eh? Oh, that queer fish. Wild duck.
Oh, I think you managed to catch her, Lieutenant Ekdal.
We didn't. There's one particular man we have to be thankful for her in this town.
Not my father, by any chance.
Hit him on the head. That one and alone man, that particular man, is none other than your father.
How odd that you should guess, Gregors.
Yes, well, we didn't get it from Mr. Vella himself.
He went for a shoot at his boat and he missed his sight. He's losing it, you know. He winged her.
Oh, I see. Some stray shot in the body, eh?
A couple of shots I rather fancy.
Yes, one went under the wing, so she couldn't fly away.
But don't they dive straight to the bottom?
Always do, wild duck. Yeah. Hook themselves onto the weeds and muck they find down there. Make certain they never come to the surface again.
Yours came to the surface again, Lieutenant Ekdal?
Father's dog dived in after. Very clever dog. He dived in after and brought her to the surface.
And you took her in?
Well, not exactly. Your father ordered Pedersen to destroy her.
Pedersen Pipe.
Your father knows Pedersen slightly, and when he heard about it, he persuaded him to hand her over.
She had managed to thrive out there,
Yes,
apparently.
indeed. She...
As long as she never gets a glimpse of the sea or the sky. Well, I think perhaps I'd better not stay any longer. I think your father's going to sleep.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that.
By the way, I believe you mentioned something about having a room to let.
Yes.
Across the
right.
passage. Could I have that room?
Oh, no, Mr.
You?
Gregors, not you.
I'd like it if there's no objection. And I'd like to move in first thing in the morning.
Oh, why, of course, Gregors. It'll be a pleasure to have you in the house.
Oh, but Mr. Gregors, it's not at all the sort of room that you're accustomed
How
to.
can you say that? It's a very pleasant room. It's decently furnished with a charm of its own. Let me show you.
But what about those two who live underneath him?
What two are they?
Well, I mean, there's that, one of them who was a tutor. His name's Mulvick.
He's got some sort of a degree, I believe.
Yes, and then there's the other one's a doctor, and his name's Rennick.
Really? I believe I used to know him. He practiced for a bit up at Hoydal.
Well, they're a proper pair of good-for-nothings, those two. They're out on the tiles all night, and they come in at all hours.
Oh, I
and
can
then
put up
it's
with
like
that.
as
I
not,
shall
they're not.
try to emulate the wild duck.
Well, I'd sleep on it if I were you.
I believe you're reluctant to have me in the house, Mrs. Ekdal.
Oh, well, no. No, gracious me, no.
Are you thinking of staying in town for some time, then?
Yes. Now I'm thinking of remaining. But it's all settled then. I'll move in first thing in the morning. Well, there's no need to worry, eh? I'm quite used to doing for myself.
We'll sort out the sordid details tomorrow, shall we? Good night, Mrs. Ekdal.
Good night.
Good night.
Now, wait a moment. I'll light you down. It's rather dark on the stairs.
Good night, Mr. Bella.
Well, the lamp was still on downstairs. Well, now at last, I could get something to eat. You see, Gina, what happens when you keep your wits about you?
What do you mean, wits?
Well, once we've been able to let that room. And to an old friend like Gregor's.
Yes, well, I don't know what to say about that, I'm sure.
It could be such fun. What do you say?
Last, I know my mission in life, and I intend fulfilling it.
Oh, yes, Father, you must.
I'll fulfill it, I shall. You see, that's why it's so important I've been able to let that room. Don't you see how much more independent it makes me? And that's it should be. A man with a mission in life has to be independent. Oh, poor old father. Poor old white-haired father. Your Hjalmar will carry your burden for you, never fear. His shoulders are broad enough, well, strong enough at any event. One fine day, you'll wake up and you believe it, don't you, Gina?
Yes, of course, dear. Hadn't we better be getting him to bed?
Well, oh, I suppose so. Come on.
Come on. Wake up.
Come on, relax.
It's not dangerous. Forest.
Hedvig!
Oh, Mrs. Ekdal. I just seen you outside. Very kind of you. What's going on tonight? Thank you.
Oh, not at all. Not at all, Mr. Hedvig!
Back already?
Hedvig! Oh, there you are, dear. Look, just start this. What to do?
Going in to see how Gregors is getting on? Matter of fact, I looked in on him myself for a few minutes just after you left.
So he said. And you had to go and ask him to dinner.
Luncheon, Gina, luncheon, not dinner. Just provided something. You got something in the house, I imagine?
Oh, I'll manage to scrape up something, I dare say.
Well, it better be a bit more than a bit of something. I wouldn't be surprised if Relling and Molvik didn't turn up. I saw Relling on the stairs, and I felt I had to ask him.
Did you? So we got those two as well, have we?
It's a couple more or less. Can't possibly make all that difference.
Busy, Ullmann.
What is it, Grandpa? Is there something
No,
you
no,
want?
no, nothing. It just doesn't matter.
See, he doesn't go sneaking out.
Yes, all right. Gina, I think a little herring salad might be a good idea. I understand Redding and Malvik made rather a night of it.
That's all right, as long as they don't come before I'm ready. In the meantime, it wouldn't hurt you to do a bit of work, would it?
Well, what else am I doing? I'm working as hard as I can.
Then you'll get it finished all the sooner.
Ullmann, you still busy?
Yes, I'm still slaving away at these photographs.
Never mind if you're such a slave as all that.
Father, are you busy?
If you're slaving away, I'm slaving away.
Right.
Dear young, there's a lot to be done in there. We've got to get on with it.
That's what I was thinking.
We haven't much time. It's ready for a party tomorrow. It is tomorrow, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is tomorrow. There you are, Father. Now you can get on with it.
So aren't you coming in?
Yes, I can see one.
Yeah.
No, I better not. I've got so much work to do. All these photographs. But look, I'll just show you how it works. I got this. Right? There you are. Now perhaps I can have a few minutes peace and quiet and be able to get on with my work. Now, what do you want?
Only to be with you, Father.
You sent me here to keep an eye on me, is that it?
No, of course not.
What's your mother doing?
She's making a herring salad.
Oh.
Isn't there something I could do, Father?
No, I'd rather do it by myself, Hedvig, as long as I'm able to. You needn't bother her as long as your father can keep his strength.
Your father makes us say such horrible things.
What's your grandfather doing?
I think he's laying a new path to the waterfall.
He'll never manage that by himself, and I've got to sit here and
Give
do all
me
this.
the brush, Father. I can do it. I know just how.
Nonsense, you'll only hurt your eyes.
No, I won't. Not a bit. Please give me the brush.
Well, it would only take 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, then what harm can it possibly do?
Do not if you do it for too long, you understand? Because I won't be answerable. You're doing this on your own responsibility. Do you understand that?
Yes. Yes, of course.
Well, you're very quick, Hedvig. You're very good at it. But just for a few minutes, mind. Father. I'll show you what I think. Well, no, that's much. The angle's too steep. You see, she'll never manage. Because she's broken her leg. Hold on, I'll see if I can get some more. Hedvig, could you pass me the pincers and the chisel? These are over there on the bookshelf. Just as well I came out. He never would have managed it himself. Thank you, my dear. That's what I like. Ah, yes. Now, Father, I'll tell you.
Good morning. Do please come in.
Thank you.
It's only Father and Grandfather. I'll tell them. Yeah.
Oh, no, don't do that. Let me wait till they finish.
I'm afraid it's dreadfully untidy in here.
Oh, please don't move them on my account. Oh, they're prints in the process of being finished, aren't they?
Yes, a few hours helping my father with.
Well, then don't let me disturb you.
Well, if you don't mind.
How's the wild duck this morning? Did you sleep well?
Yes, thank you. I think so.
Must look very differently there in the daylight, I imagine.
Yes, it's always changing. It's quite different in the morning from what it is in the afternoon. And different again when it's sunny from when it rains.
You've noticed that?
You can't help noticing it.
Do you like being in there with the wild duck?
Yes, when I can manage it.
Yes. I don't suppose you get much spare time, do you? You're still at school, aren't you?
No. Father took me away. He was afraid of it hurting my eyes.
Oh, I see. Then he reads with you himself?
No, he hasn't had time. He's been too busy.
Is there no one else who can help you?
Yes, there's Malvik. Only his always... Well, sometimes he's not...
Not always so, eh?
Yes, I expect that's what it is.
You must have plenty of time to do as you like. I suppose it's sort of other world in itself in there.
Yes, it is. And it has such wonderful things in it.
Really?
Yes, there are whole cupboards full of books, and a lot of the books have got pictures in them.
Ah.
And there's an old clock with little men and women that go running in and out whenever it strikes. Well, that is when it did strike. It doesn't now, because it doesn't go.
So, time has stood still in there with the wild duck.
Yes. And there's an old paint box. And all kinds of things. And, of course, the books.
Where do all these treasures come from?
They belong to an old sea captain who once lived here. He went away and he hadn't taken things with him.
I see. Tell me, when you're in there looking at the pictures, don't you wish you could go sailing around the world? See all those wonderful sights for yourself?
No. Want to stay at home always and help Mother and Father.
Retouch photographs?
Well, not only that. What I'd like to do most of all would be to engrave pictures, like the ones in the picture books.
What does your father think about that?
I don't think he likes the idea very much. He's funny about things like that. Can you imagine? He wants me to learn basket making and straw plaiting. I don't see what use that is.
No, nor do I.
But of course he's quite right when he says that if I'd learnt to make baskets, I could have made the new one for the Wild Duck.
Yes, that's true. After all, you'd be the proper person to do it.
Yes, because she's my Wild Duck.
Of course she is.
Yes, she's all mine.
And she's been down to the depths of the ocean.
Why do you say the depths of the ocean?
Why, what should I say?
You could have said the bottom of the sea.
Isn't it the same then?
No, it's not that. But it's odd to hear somebody else talk about the depths of the ocean.
Why? Why is it odd? Now tell me.
No, I can't. It's silly.
Oh, I'm not so sure about that. Why did you smile just now?
Well, you know, it's because whenever it really comes home to me what is in there, I always think of the whole place and everything in it as being the depths of the ocean. And that's just silly.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as that.
But of course it's silly. It's only an attic.
Are you so sure?
What, that it's an attic?
Yes. Oh, I'm afraid I've come too early.
Well, you've got to be somewhere, haven't you? Besides, we're nearly ready now.
I
Come along,
know.
Hedvig.
You
Get those
do
things off
retouching, Mrs. Ekdal.
Hmm? Sorry? Yes, I can.
That was fortunate, wasn't it?
How do you mean fortunate?
Well, you know, it was, since Ullmann was to take up photography.
Mother can take photographs too.
Oh, yes. Yes, had to learn to do that as well.
Good Lord, what was that?
It's them in there shooting again.
Shooting in there?
Yes, that's how they go out shooting.
What? What are you shooting in there, Ullmann?
What? Oh, it's you. I didn't know. I was so taken up, and Hedvig didn't tell us.
You were shooting in here?
Oh, only with this.
So you've become a sportsman as well,
Yeah,
eh?
well, I join Father now and again, potting at a few rabbits.
Oh, that's men all over. They must always have something to amuse themselves with.
Yes, we must always have something to amuse ourselves. Well, fortunately, the attic's so placed you can't hear the firing from the rest of the house. You're not to touch this, Hedvig. There's one barrel still loaded. Is lunch nearly ready?
Yes, almost on the table. Hedvig, can you come and help me in the kitchen a minute?
Oh, I wouldn't stand there staring at Father if I were you, Gregors. He doesn't like being watched. Oh, shoot. That's a useful little dodge, isn't it? I invented it myself. You see, Gina doesn't like having rabbits and fowls running loose in the studio.
Yes, I can well believe it. After all, the studio's very much your wife's concern.
Well, I usually leave her to cope with the more pedestrian aspects of the business while I segregate myself in the parlour and give my mind over to more important things.
What things, Ullmann?
But you know I'm surprised you haven't asked me that before. But then I dare say you haven't heard about my new invention.
Invention? No, I can't really say I have.
Haven't you? Really? Well, I suppose living off the mat.
Do you actually say you've invented something?
Well, it's not exactly finished yet. But when I decided to give over my whole life to photography, it wasn't with the idea of taking ordinary photographs of ordinary people.
No, of course not.
No, I vowed if I began to dedicate my powers to this trade, I would raise it to the level of an art and a science. So I decided to apply my whole mind to perfecting this great invention.
And what is this invention? I mean, what does it do?
Yes, Gregors, you mustn't ask me questions like that. These things take time, you know. And I'm not doing it just for myself. No. It's my mission in life that beckons me, day and night.
And what is that mission?
Have you forgotten that silver-haired old man in there?
Your poor old father. But what exactly can you hope to do for him?
Well, at least I can revive his self-respect by restoring honor and dignity to the name of Ekdal.
I see.
I must say that shipwrecked old warrior, for he was shipwrecked. You know that pistol, the one we used for the rabbits there?
Hmm?
You know, that pistol has played its part in the tragedy of the House of Ekdal.
Indeed?
Mm. When sentence was pronounced, and he was to go to prison, he was found with that pistol in his hand.
Was he really?
But he couldn't bring himself to it. So demoralized was he, so broken in spirit. Can you understand that, Gregors? I mean, a man like that, a soldier, big game hunter with 9 bears to his credit, descended from 2 lieutenant colonels. Well, one after the other, of course. Can you understand it, Greg?
Oh, yes, I can, quite easily.
Well, I can't. Do you know, that pistol has played yet another part in the history of our family. Yes, when he was under lock and key and in his prison grey, then I too had my hour of agony. And in that same hour, Hedvig Ekdal turned that pistol on his own breast.
You mean to say that you too?
Yes.
But you didn't pull the trigger?
No. At the last moment, I gained victory over myself, and I chose life. And believe me, Gregors, it takes a certain amount of courage to choose life in those circumstances.
Yeah. Rather depends upon which way you look at it. How soon do you suppose your invention will be ready?
My dear Gregors, you can't tie me down to a definite date. I mean, it's all a question of intuition.
Yes, but I mean, all these very ingenious little things you're inventing for the attic, don't they tend to deflect you from the big things?
Oh, no, not at all. You mustn't say that. I mean, no man can possibly pursue that exacting train of thought all day long. I mean, I must have some relaxation.
You know, my dear Ullmann, I'm inclined to think there's something of the wild duck in you.
What on earth do you mean, Gregors?
You've dived straight to the bottom and hooked yourself in the muck. You've been trapped in a poisonous marsh, Ullmann. And there you've contracted an insidious disease, and because of it you dive straight to the bottom to die in the dark.
I? Die in the dark? Really, Gregors, what nonsense you do talk.
No, don't be alarmed. I'll bring him to the surface somehow. You see, I too have a mission. I came upon it yesterday.
Well, it's very kind of you, Gregors, but...
Oh, there you are, you two, just at the right moment.
Once Mulvey got it into his nose, there was herring salad. There was no holding him.
Gregors, I'd like you to meet Mr. Mulvey and Dr... Oh, but of course you know, Brady.
Mr. Verler Jr., isn't it? Yes, we crossed swords more than once up at Hoydle. You just moved in, have you?
Yes, this morning.
Well, Mulvey and I have the room underneath you, so when you want the doctor and the priest, you haven't far to send.
Stranger things have happened. Last night we were 13 at table.
Oh, come now, Gregors. Come, let's eat, drink, and be merry.
Aren't we going to wait for your father?
Oh, no, he'll have his in his room later on. Let's start, shall we?
Melvick was revoltingly drunk again yesterday,
Oh, not again, surely.
Didn't you hear me bringing the body up the stairs at the midnight hour?
No, I can't say that I did.
Oh, good thing, too. Melvick was revolting last night.
You weren't really, were you, Mr. Melvick?
What?
That's a straw veil over the doings of last night. Such behaviour is not the product of my better self.
Takes him by storm, you know. He's like a man possessed. So much so that I can't let him out of my sight. You see, Mr. Melvick is a demoniac.
Demoniac?
Oh, yes. Melvick's a demoniac.
Oh.
And demoniacs aren't built for walking in a straight line. They have to sway a bit now and then. Do you still grind away at those unsavoury works of yours up at Hoydle?
I've done so.
Open the door, will you, Hedvig? I think Grandfather wants to come out. And Gina, can I have some butter, please?
Get a nice fat slice of pork for Melvick.
Not pork.
Good morning, gentlemen. Excellent sport today. Shot a real beauty.
Oh, no. Skinned it without waiting for me.
I didn't start it too. A lovely tender meat rabbit is sweet as sugar.
Excuse me, I don't think I should... I think I shall have to go downstairs at once.
Have some soda water, you ass. Oh, I think that calls for toast the old hunter, don't you?
The hardy old hunter who's been face to face with death.
You know, Ekdal, fundamentally you're a happy man. You've this great mission in life to work for.
I do work, believe me.
Then you've a wife and a million.
Oh, dear.
go on with you.
I could have chosen no truer companion for the rough roads of
Yama,
life.
don't you sit there categorizing.
Then you've your Hedvig.
Oh, my little girl, my darling, yes. Come over here, my angel. Come to me, darling. Now, tell me, what day is it tomorrow?
Oh, no, Daddy, you mustn't tell me, please.
It's like a knife in my heart to think what a dreary little business is going to have to be. Just a little party up there in the attic.
That's just what I want.
Oh.
Well, Mr. Verler, don't you find it pleasant once in a while sitting at a well-furnished table in the midst of a happy family?
Now, these little occasions mean very much to me.
For my part, I don't thrive in the odours of the marsh.
Oh, now, Gregors, don't start that.
Odours of the marsh?
Gracious me. No odours in this house, Gregors Verler. This house gets a thoroughly good airing every day of the week.
Not all the airing in the world can clear the odour I have in mind.
Well, did you hear what he said, Hjalmar?
Excuse me, but might not you yourself be carrying the infection with you from the mines up there?
I should expect you to call what I bring into this house infection.
Listen to me, Ver. I have a nasty feeling you're still going around with that claim of the ideal in your coat-tail pocket.
I carry it in my breast.
Or wherever you carry the bloody thing, don't start blackmailing anyone here with it whilst I'm about.
And what if I do?
And go headfirst down the stairs.
All right, Redding.
throw me out?
No, no, Doctor, please. We don't want anything like that in here.
Sure.
Oh, dear.
I beg your pardon. I believe my son is staying here.
Oh, Mr. Vale, won't you come in, sir?
No, thank you. I only want to speak to my son.
Well, here I am.
I prefer to speak to you in the privacy of your room. In the light of your sudden move into this house, I've been reconsidering certain things you let fall last night, and I'm driven to the conclusion that you intend me some mischief.
I intend opening Hjalmar Ekdal's eyes, that's all. It's high time he realized his position.
Is it I who warped your mind, Gregers?
You've warped my whole life. Oh, I don't mean all that about Mother. It's entirely thanks to you that I'm prey and victim of a guilty conscience.
Your conscience now.
I should have stood up to you when you laid your trap for Hjalmar Ekdal. I should have warned him.
That would have been the time to speak. What a
I had
pity.
a vague notion of what was going on. I had neither the moral nor physical courage.
You seem to have made an excellent
Not
recovery.
only then, but for years afterwards. The wrong done to Lieutenant Ekdal can never be undone. But at least I can deliver Hjalmar from the lies and deceit which are strangling him.
And you think that'll help him?
I'm quite sure of it.
Well, we shall see.
I must find some cure for my sick conscience.
You never will. You've had the disease since you were a child. Got it from your mother. It's about all you did get from her.
Haven't you forgiven her yet for the mistake you made in marrying her for the money she hadn't
Don't
got?
let's concern ourselves with irrelevances. Obviously, there's no point in my asking you to return home with me tonight.
None whatever.
And I suppose you won't join the firm either?
No.
Very well. Since I'm about to remarry, your share of the estate will come to you at once.
Oh, no, I don't want any of that.
You don't want it?
No.
And you don't intend to return to the works?
No, I no longer consider myself in your employ.
What are you going to do then? What are you going to live
I've
on?
saved a little from my salary.
And how long do you think that'll last?
It will last my time.
What precisely did you mean
I don't
by
propose
that?
that you ask any more questions.
Very well. Goodbye, Gregers.
Goodbye.
Is your father gone?
Yes.
Well, that's ruined our lunch bar.
Get your hat and coat, Hjalmar. I want you to come for a long walk with me.
Yes, of course. What did your father want? Anything to do with me?
Oh, come along. I've got a lot to say to you. I'll meet you downstairs.
I shouldn't go with him if I were you, Hjalmar.
Right. Stay here with us.
What nonsense, when my oldest friend feels the need to confide in me.
Hjalmar, you've been gone a long while.
Longer than usual, I admit. Anna, thank you.
But did you have your dinner with Gregers Vale then?
No?
Oh, well, then I'll get you something.
No, nothing now. I require nothing, thank you.
Aren't you feeling very well, Papa?
Well, I'm feeling all right, I suppose, but Gregers took me for rather a long walk.
Well, you shouldn't have gone with him in the first place, Hjalmar. You're not used to walking, that's what it is.
One has to get used to a great many things in this world. Any new orders?
No, not today.
There'll be some tomorrow, Father. You see it then.
Well, I sincerely hope so. As from tomorrow, I propose to start work in real earnest. I shall do all the work myself. I want no assistance from anyone.
Oh, Hjalmar, why ever should you? Oh, you'll only make your life a misery again. Like this, I can look after the photograph side of things, and you can get on with your invention.
And don't forget the wild duck, Daddy, and the chickens and rabbits.
No, don't talk to me about that rubbish. As from tomorrow, I shall never set foot in that attic again.
Father, you promised we were going to have a party.
Oh, yes, so I did. Well, then from the day after tomorrow. And as for that damn wild duck, I could willingly wring its neck.
A wild duck? Just say. But, Father, it's my wild duck.
Yes, I know it is, and that's why I shan't do it. I haven't the heart to. But something deep down inside me tells me that I ought to. I oughtn't to allow anything that has passed through those hands to remain under my roof.
I mean, just because Grandpa happened to get it off that Patterson...
There are certain claims, what can I call them, claims of the ideal, which a man cannot ignore except to the detriment of his own soul. You'd better go out for your evening walk now, Hedvig. It's stopped raining. It's just about dark enough for you. You needn't stay out too long.
I don't think I want to go out
Oh, no, run along now. Your eyes look as if they've been watering again. It's the atmosphere in this place.
I'll just
Bad
put my
for you.
clothes and hats.
Like all the air in this house.
Father, you mustn't hurt the wild duck when I'm not.
Not so much as a feather of its head. Oh, Hedvig, you and I, we two. Run along now. Gina? As from tomorrow, or rather the day after tomorrow, I want to keep all the household accounts myself.
Keep the household account?
But at least I want to keep an account of everything that comes in.
Oh, Lord, that won't take you long.
I'm not so sure. You seem to make the money go a surprisingly long way. How'd you manage to do it?
That's because Hedvig and I manage on so little.
Is it true that Father is paid very liberally for the copying work he does for Mr. Werler?
Well, I don't know about it being liberal. I don't rightly know what they do pay for that kind of work.
Well, how much does he get, approximately?
Well, it's all according to... Well, I would say it's just enough to cover his keep and a bit over for pocket money.
Enough to cover his keep. Why didn't you tell me this before?
Well, how could I, when you're so proud to think that everything he got came from you?
Whereas, in fact, it came from Mr. Werler.
Well, he's got plenty, goodness knows.
Well, I think you'd better light the lamp.
We don't know for certain it does come from Mr. Werler. It could be that Graberg.
Why try and put it onto Graberg?
Well, I don't know. I just thought that... Anyway, it wasn't me that got Grandpa that copying job. You might as well remember that. It was Berta Sorby just after she went to work there.
Your voice, Gina, seems to me to be trembling a little bit.
Does it?
And your hands seem to be trembling a little bit.
Look, you might as well come straight out with it, Hjalmar. What's he been saying to you about me?
Is it true? Can it possibly be true that there was something between you and Mr. Werler when you were in service there?
No, it isn't. It's not true. Well, not when I was working there, anyway. Oh, Mr. Werler was after me, all right. She soon saw it, and she didn't half-create. She made things as hard for me as she possibly could. She took to knocking me about as well, and it got to such a pitch that I gave notice.
It was afterwards, then?
Well, I went home. My mother... Well, she wasn't at all the nice sort of woman you took her for, Hjalmar. She just went on at me about one thing and another, and... Well, Mr. Werler was a widower by then.
Go on.
It's best you should know, I suppose. He wouldn't let me alone. He gave me no peace until he got what he wanted.
And this is the mother of my child.
Look, I know it was wrong of me. I know I ought to have told you about it long ago.
Should have told me about it from the start. Then I should have known the sort of woman you were.
Would you have married me all the same?
How can you ask such a question?
Well, no. That's why I never dared say anything to you. You see, I'd come to care for you by then.
This is the mother of my Hedvig. And to think that everything I see about me, everything I thought was my home, I owe to your ex-lover.
Now, just you tell me this, young man. Just listen to this.
What?
I mean, where would you have found a wife like me?
Like you?
I mean, a nice sort of life you were leading when you first met me.
You
got yourself into downright bad
idea
habits,
what a
and you
man
can't
suffers
deny
when
it.
he's miserable
Oh, well, perhaps
and
I
desperate.
haven't. But just as we got everything nice and cozy...
Just
and
right
me
in the
and
middle of
Henrik-
a morass of deceit.
Oh, I wish to God that hateful man had never come here.
Yes, I too thought I had a happy home. Well, that was a delusion. Now where am I to find that buoyant flexibility of spirit so vital to me if I'm to put my invention into terms of reality? Well, it was only a dream. It's all over now, all over. It doesn't matter.
May I come in?
Oh, yes, Gregors, come in, do.
Well, my good friend.
Haven't you done it yet?
Yes, it's done, it's done.
It is?
I just lived through the bitterest moment of my life.
And also the noblest, I hope.
Well, anyway, it's over now, for the time being, at any rate.
May God forgive you, Gregors Vella.
I don't understand.
What don't you understand?
After such a great moment of redemption, a moment that was to initiate a real friendship based on truth and purified
Gregors,
falsehood.
I know all about that.
I came into this room convinced that I should see faces shining with new life, but all I see is apathy and depression. You need time, that I realize. You, Hjalmar, surely you feel newly consecrated after such a moment.
I do, Gregors, of course I do. In a way. I mean, I do indeed.
For there's nothing finer in this world than to forgive.
Do you think a man could recover from such a bitter cup?
No, not for an ordinary man, but for a man like you.
Good heavens, I know that, Gregors, but you must give me time.
A great deal of the wild duck in you, Hjalmar.
Wild duck still on the agenda, huh?
There's badly winged victim.
Old Verla, is he the burning topic?
Was he and us?
Don't you go to the devil.
What was that?
I was just hoping this quack would clear out before he was trying to make a mess of both your lives. as it
No
certainly
mess will be made of their lives, Dr. Relling. Hjalmar, I needn't speak for we know him. And as for her, I'm sure that at the bottom of her heart, she too is honourable and sincere.
Then you might as well have left me as I was.
Is it too much to ask what you really want in this house, Verla?
I want to lay the foundations of a true marriage.
Well, I've never been married, not exactly, so I can't very well be dogmatic. One thing I do know, you two are grown-up people. Whatever mess you choose to make of your own lives, God knows it's your own business. But let me warn you, have a care where Hedvig's concerned. You may do her a terrible harm.
May I come in? Good evening.
Oh, Berta, it's you.
Yes, dear. Of course it's me. I hope this isn't an inconvenient moment.
Not at all.
To tell you the truth, I rather hoped to find you on your own at this time. I just wanted to run in and have a little chat and say goodbye.
Are you going away then?
Yes. First thing tomorrow morning, up to Heudel. Mr. Verla left this afternoon. He sent you his kind regards.
Mr. Verla left for Heudel and you're going after him?
Yes. And what do you say to that, Hjalmar?
I say take care, that's all.
Perhaps I'd better explain. Mrs. Sorby and my father are going to be married.
Married?
Surely this can't be true.
Yes, my dear doctor. It's perfectly true.
Tonight I shall go out with Mulvig.
Don't do that. You mustn't do that, please, for my sake.
Nothing else for it. So why not join us, young man? Goodbye, Mrs. Verla.
I had no idea that you and Dr. Relling were such close friends, Mrs. Sorby.
Oh, yes. We've known each other for years. Indeed, at one time, it seemed as if our friendship might have ripened into something.
Luckily for you, it didn't.
You can put it that way if you like. It may seem to you that I've done rather well for myself, and so I have in a way. All the same, I don't think I'm getting any more than I'm giving. At least I shall never leave him. And I can look after him and care for him as no one else can, now that he'll soon be helpless.
Helpless?
There's no need to mention that here, Mrs. Faber.
There's no good trying to conceal it any longer, much as he'd like to. Mr. Faber's going blind.
Going blind?
And you can imagine what that means to a businessman. Well, I must be going. Oh, and I was to tell you, Hjalmar, that if there's anything Mr. Werner can do for you, you have only to apply to Graberg.
An offer which I'm sure Mr. Ekdal will decline, with thanks.
Really? Times have changed then. He never used to.
No, it's quite true, but Hjalmar doesn't want anything more from Mr. Werner now.
Kindly convey my compliments to your future husband. I tell him that I shall be taking an early opportunity of calling upon Mr. Graberg.
What?
Of calling, I say, upon this Mr. Graberg and asking him to furnish me with an accurate account of my financial liability to his employer. This debt of honor, that is rather funny. However, it shall be paid in full and with 5% interest.
Hjalmar, we haven't
Something
got the
has
money.
happened
God
in this
knows
house.
It has.
Very well, then. There's something else I wanted to talk to you about, but we'll have to wait for another time.
Last, I've lifted the burden of debt from my shoulders.
Anyway, you soon will, I'm sure.
I think my attitude may be called correct.
You're the man I've always taken you for.
There are certain times, Gregors, when the claims of the ideal cannot be ignored. All the same, as the breadwinner of the family, it's no joke, I can tell you, for a man of limited means to undertake to discharge a debt which has grown up over a long period of years, and over which the dust of oblivion has settled, so to speak. Be that as it may, the man in me demands his rights.
Ah, my dear Hjalmar, isn't it a good thing I came?
It certainly was.
Why, Hedvig, you haven't been long.
I didn't feel like staying out long, Mother. And it was a good thing I didn't, because I met someone at the door.
Mrs. Sorby, I suppose.
Yes.
Well, it's the last you'll be seeing of her.
Father,
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Sorby brought me something.
What is it?
Something for tomorrow.
But always does give you something on your birthday.
What is it?
You're not to see it yet. Mother's going to give it to me in bed tomorrow morning.
Oh, a conspiracy to keep me in the dark, is that it?
You can see it if you like. It's a letter.
A letter?
Yes, just a letter. The other's coming on later, I expect. But just think, a letter. I've never had a letter before. And it's addressed to me. It's got Miss on the envelope. Miss Hedvig Ekdal. That's me.
Can I see?
Here.
This is Mr. Werner's handwriting.
You sure, Hjalmar?
Well, have a look.
Now, what would I know about that?
Hedvig, can I open this letter and read it?
Yes, of course, if you want to.
No, not tonight, Hjalmar.
Oh, please let her read it.
No,
It'll put him in a
for
good
tomorrow.
temper. Go on, Father. I'm longing to know what it says.
Very well. What in the world?
What does it say?
No, be quiet for a moment. Hedvig, this is a deed of gift.
A gift? A present? Well, what is it?
I'll see for yourself.
It says it's for grandfather.
Can you understand this, Gina?
No, I can't. What's it all about?
Well, Mr. Werner writes to Hedvig that our aged grandfather need no longer concern himself with the copying. As for in future, he may draw 100 kroner a month from the office.
100 kroner?
That's nice
I
for
read
grandfather.
100 kroner a month for as long as he needs it. That means as long as he lives.
Well, then he's provided for,
Yeah, but
poor
that's
old
not
man.
all. You didn't read far enough, Hedvig. Afterwards, the gift passes to you.
To me? What, all of it?
Yes. It says here, it's to be for the same sum and for the rest of your life. Do you hear that, Gina?
Yes, I had.
All that money for me? Oh, Father. Father, aren't you pleased?
Pleased? What a perspective it reveals. So it's Hedvig. Hedvig for whom he provides so generously.
Well, it's Hedvig's birthday.
And you shall have it all the same, Father. I shall give it all to you and Mother.
It's your mother. Yes, that's just it.
Hjalmar, this is some sort of trap he's setting for
Trap?
you. When he was here this morning, he said, Hjalmar Ekdal is not at all the man you take him for.
Not the man?
Yes, he said, you'll see.
Oh, he thinks I can be bought off, is that it?
Now we shall see who was right, he or I.
Well, there's my answer. That's what I expected. Now, Gina, you've got to speak the truth. If it was all over between you and him when, as you say, you came to care for me, why did he do so much to help us get married?
I don't know.
Wasn't he afraid of a certain eventuality?
What do you mean?
I want to know whether your child has the right to live under my roof.
You asked me that.
Yes, and you've got to answer. Is Hedvig my child or
I don't know.
You don't know?
How would I know a woman like me?
Nothing to trouble me in this house.
Oh, no, just don't be hasty, Ullmann. Think what you're doing.
There's nothing to keep me, a man like me, in this house for 5 seconds.
Yes, there is. There's a great deal. The three of you must be together if you're to achieve the crowning self-sacrifice, forgiveness.
I don't care. I don't want it. Oh, where's my hat? My home is in ruins now, Gregors. I have no child now.
Father, what you say?
No, stay away from it. Don't come near me, Hedvig. No, I can't bear to see you.
Will you look
I won't. I can't. I must get out of here. I must get out of this house.
It's going away. It's going away and it'll never come back. Never.
No, don't cry, Hedvig. Don't cry. Never come back. He will. He'll come back. Father will come back. Of course he'll come back.
Darling, what have I done? Oh, Mother, go after him. Bring him back. Please, you must bring him back.
Believe me, Mrs. Ekdal, I meant all for the best.
Well, you must stop crying, dear. I shall find him. Come on. Now, promise me no more tears, dear.
Yes, I promise. If only Father comes back.
Yes, that's a good girl.
Hadn't you better let him fight his battle for himself?
We'll plenty of time for that afterwards. The first thing's a child.
What's it all about? Why doesn't Father want me anymore?
You mustn't ask that till you're grown up.
If I know what it is. Perhaps I don't really belong to Father after all.
How should that be?
They might have found me. And Father's only just heard about it. I know things like that happen in books.
Well, and supposing that were true?
I think he might love me just as much or the same. Even more, perhaps. After all, the wild duck was found and given to us as a present.
Oh, yes.
And I love her very much indeed.
Wild duck. Now, tell me more about her, Hedvig.
Poor wild duck. He can't bear to see her either. I just think he wanted to wring her neck.
Oh, no, he'd never do that, I'm sure.
No, but he said he'd like to. And I think he was sorry to Father even to say it. Because I pray for the wild duck every night. That her days may be long. And that she may be delivered from evil.
You say your prayers every night?
Yes.
And who taught you to do that?
I taught myself when Father was very ill.
Say your prayers in the morning as well?
No, of course not.
Why not?
Because it's light in the morning. And there's nothing to be afraid of.
And yet your father wanted to wring its neck.
No. He said he could almost. That he wouldn't for my sake. I think that was nice of Father.
But supposing you were to sacrifice the wild duck, of your own free will, and for his sake.
The wild duck?
Yes. Supposing you were to sacrifice, for his sake, the greatest treasure you have in the world.
You think it would help?
Try it, Hedvig.
Yes. Yes, I will try it. I'll ask Grandfather to do it in the morning.
Yes.
You see, you too are a sick man.
Oh, yes, you're quite right, I am.
Exactly, but your case is a complicated one. First of all, you've got this tiresome rash of righteousness. And then what's even worse, you're constantly in a delirium of hero worship. You've always got to find something outside yourself which you can dare.
Oh, yes. Must be something outside myself.
And you make such bloody silly mistakes about these demigods you think you've discovered. You come to the workman's cottage, presented your claim of the ideal, only to find the tenants are bankrupt.
If you've so poor an opinion of Ullmann, Ekdal, what possible satisfaction can you derive from spending so much time in his company?
No, it's simple. You see, for my sins, I'm supposed to be a kind of doctor, and therefore I feel bound to do what I can for the sick who happen to be living in the same house.
Really? Ullmann Ekdal is sick too, is he?
Most people are, I'm afraid.
What sort of treatment are you giving him?
Oh, my usual one, helping him to keep up his own special fantasy. What I call a life lie.
Life lie? May I ask by what life lie Ullmann has to be sustained?
No, you may not. I don't divulge professional secrets to cracks. You'd only get him into a worse mess than he's in already. But my method's infallible. Look at Mulvig. I made him out to be a demoniac. That's the blue pill I've given him.
Oh. Then he's not demoniac.
What the devil does demoniac mean anyway? It's just a lot of mumbo-jumbo I cooked up to give the poor fellow something to live for. Without it, he'd have succumbed to self-contempt and despair years ago. Then the old lieutenant, he's another one. And he's found his cure for himself.
Oh, well, he's sick too, is he? You diagnosed him as well?
Yeah, I imagine it. An ex-bear hunter shutting himself up in a gloomy attic to shoot rabbits. Yet there's not a happier sportsman in the whole world than that old man poking about up there amongst all that rubbish. 4 or 5 withered Christmas trees he's got up there are the same to him as the whole green forest of Hoydle. The few fowls of the game in the treetops, the rabbits hopping about the floor, the bears he has to encounter. How is the mighty hunter fallen?
Poor old Ekdal. He certainly had to temper the ideals of his youth.
While I think of it, Mr. Fowler, Junior, don't use that foreign word, ideals. We've got a perfectly satisfactory native word, lies.
You think the two things are connected?
Yes, exactly like typhus and putrid fever.
Dr. Rilling, I shan't rest till I've delivered Hjalmar Ekdal from your clutches.
So much the worse for him.
No, he's still in Rilling's room. I can see you haven't done it.
Done what? Oh, you mean the wild dog? No.
I suppose your courage failed you at the last minute.
No, not exactly. You see, when I woke up this morning, I thought about all we've been saying, and, well, it all seems so silly.
Silly?
Yes. I don't know. Last night at the time, it sounded so beautiful. But this morning, after I'd been asleep and thought about it again, well, it didn't seem to make sense.
I ought not to have expected you could grow up in this household without having something spoiled in you.
I don't care about that. Only Father did for me.
What a pity it is your eyes have never really been open to the valuable things in life. If only you had that true, joyous, brave spirit of sacrifice in you, you'd soon see how quickly he'd come. I still have faith in you, Hedvig.
Not much fun, I can tell you, having to do morning rounds by yourself.
Aren't you going shooting on this morning, Grandpa?
Not shooting weather. So overcast in there, you can hardly see an inch in front of your nose.
Didn't you ever feel you'd like to shoot something else besides rabbits?
Why, what's wrong with rabbits? Aren't they good enough for you?
Yes, but the wild duck.
Eh? You're afraid I'll shoot you, wild duck? Not in your life, little one. Never.
Perhaps you couldn't. They say wild duck are very difficult to shoot.
Oh, couldn't I? I jolly well think I could.
How would you do it, Grandfather?
Eh?
Not with my wild duck, of course, but somebody else's.
Well, first, I take care to shoot in the right place. Well, that's always the best. That's the way. The only other thing you've got to be careful about is to shoot against the lay of the feathers, not with them. See?
To die, then?
Of course, if you shoot straight. So now you know all about it.
Now, Hedvig, don't stand there rummaging among your father's things. You know he doesn't like it.
It was only tidying up.
Yes, well, you'd be far better off in the kitchen watching the milk for coffee so he doesn't boil over. I'll take him some coffee down with my cup. Tell me you've come back then.
Yes, I've come back, but only to go away again.
Yes, I suppose so. What a sight you look.
Sight?
Best winter coat, it's ruined.
Love, hadn't I better? Oh,
No,
Father.
stay away. Keep her away from me.
You better go in the other room, Hedvig.
Where are my books?
What books?
My scientific books and all the technical periodicals I need for my invention, of course. Where are they?
These the ones?
Well, of course they are.
Do you want me to get Hedvig to cut the pages
Don't
for you?
require to have them cut, thank you.
So you're really going then, Ullmann?
Well, I should have thought that was obvious. I'm not staying here to get a knife in my heart every hour of the day.
Grandpa, what's to become of him?
No one to teach me my duty, thank you. My poor destitute father comes with me. I shall go into town to make the necessary arrangements. I suppose no one found my hat on the stairs.
No, you haven't gone and lost it, have you?
Wearing it when I came in last night. There's no doubt about that, of course, but this morning it seems to have disappeared.
Wherever did you get to last night with those two drunks?
Bother me with these questions. Do you think I can remember such stuff in my state?
Well, I hope you're having a hot cold, Ullmann, that's all.
Blast you, Relling. You're a swine and a loafer.
I brought you a cup or something hot if you like it, and a bit of bread and butter and some cold milk.
Huh? Food? No, thank you. I haven't had so much as a bite of solid food for the last 24 hours, but it doesn't matter. Where are my papers and the opening chapters of my autobiography? And my diaries and all my important papers? Where are they? Oh, the sheet in there now.
Oh, good gracious, the girl's got to be somewhere.
Come out of there. How should we spare the presence of interlopers?
What's the meaning? No, you go into your room. Now, Ullmann, don't stop turning those balls upside down. I know where everything is.
Portmanteau's quite useless. I've got 101 things to drag around.
You have to take everything at once. You can come back for a few things later on. I really need now is a clean vest and a clean shirt.
Ghastly packing. I'm exhausted.
That coffee was stone cold by now.
Hmm? Yes.
You won't have a job finding another attic big enough to take all those rabbits.
Oh, I haven't got to take all those rabbits with me as well.
I don't see how Grandpa's going to manage without his rabbits.
But he's going to have to, that's all. I'm sacrificing far greater things than rabbits.
Do you want me to put your flute in your portmanteau?
I know, but give me the pistol.
Want that?
Yes.
Oh, I can't see it. It's not here. He must have it with him in there.
He's in the attic.
Well, of course he is.
Poor lonely old man.
Mm. You know, I dare say you could manage in the parlour for a couple of days if you wanted to. I mean, you'd have it to yourself.
Never.
Now, what is it?
More butter.
All right, I'll get you some. Take a minute.
No, dry bread's quite good enough for me. Could I, if I had no intrusion from anyone, manage in the parlour for a couple of days?
You know very well you could.
Because as it is, I don't see the remotest possibility of moving all Father's things out at such short notice.
No, I mean, especially with the weather as terrible as it is outside.
See this document still lying around?
Yes, I haven't touched it.
Not so much waste paper as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I have no intention of using it.
At the same time, it might be just as well not to lose it. I mean, what with all this moving, it might easily get...
Yes, well, I'll see that it's put away.
I mean, it is, in the first instance, made out to Father, and it's entirely up to him whether he wants to avail himself, obviously.
Oh, yes. Poor old man.
Well, just to be on the safe side, where did you put the gum?
Hmm?
And the brush. Just a strip of paper down the back. Far be it for me to lay hands on other people's property. Least of all a poor destitute old man, or anyone else for that matter. There. That'll do, I think. I'll leave it there till it gets dry, then put it away safely.
Yes.
I never wish to set eyes on that paper again. Never.
Yalma.
Oh, Gregor, I'm just relaxing for a few minutes. I mean, the claims of the body have to be met sometimes.
What have you decided to do?
Well, for a man like me, there's only one thing to do. I'm just sorting through my most important papers. As you know, it's tiring work, and it takes time.
Now, do you want me to pack that portmanteau to get the room ready for you?
Pack and get the room ready.
All right, then. Just get your clean vest and shirt.
Yalma, I never imagined it would end like this. Do you feel bound to leave?
What else would you have me do? I'm not built for bearing unhappiness, Gregor. I must have a little peace and a sense of security in my life.
Couldn't you have all that here? I mean, why not try it? It seems to me that at last you have solid foundations on which to build and can make a fresh start. And remember, you've got the invention to live for.
Don't talk about me, the invention. It might well be years before it matures.
Really?
Well, heavens above, what do you want me to invent? Almost everything's already been invented by someone or other. I mean, it's getting more difficult every day.
Well, after you work so hard and so long.
See, it was that swine Redding who put me up.
Really?
Yes, it was he who first revealed to me my ability to make some great scientific discovery in the field of photography.
Oh,
I've known such great happiness in the work, not so much for the invention itself, but because Hedvig believed in it. Believed in it with all a child's enthusiasm. At least I was foolish enough to think so.
You can't really believe that Hedvig would be deceived.
I can't believe anything now. It's Hedvig who stands in my way. She'll blot out the sun for me always.
Hedvig, how could she ever blot out the sun for
I
you?
have loved that child so unspeakably. I've been so unspeakably happy whenever I came back into this poor room. She ran towards me and looked at me with a sweet, short-sighted eye. What a fool I've been. I succumbed to the idea that she loved me in return.
Can you call that a delusion? Yalma?
Yes, listen to him shooting at a time like this.
Grandpa's in there shooting by himself again.
Oh, well, I better go in and see how he is.
No, wait a moment. Do you know what that was?
Well, of course I do.
No, you don't, but I do. That was the proof you wanted.
Proof? What proof?
It was a child sacrifice. She's got your father to shoot the wild duck.
Shoot the wild duck? But whatever for?
She wanted to sacrifice her greatest treasure for you. Then she thought surely you would come to love her again.
I think she thinks so.
Child.
She only wanted your love again, Yalma. Without it, she felt she couldn't live.
Oh, there you are, you see, Yalma. You can see for
Dina,
yourself
where
now.
is she? Hedvig, come here. Come to me, Hedvig. Oh, she's not here.
She's in her own room.
Hedvig. Hedvig, no, she's not here either. She must have gone out.
Oh, yes, you wouldn't have it anywhere in the house,
I
would you?
wish she was here now so that I could tell her that everything will be all right now. You see, now, Gregors, I believe we can make a fresh start.
I knew it. I knew that child would bring it about.
You don't shoot on your own, eh, Yalma?
Have you been shooting in your room?
Are you in there? Wasn't it you who fired that shot?
I fired.
She shot the wild duck herself.
What's that? Hedvig. Hedvig.
Oh, God. Dr. Relling! Dr. Relling! Dr. Relling!
Right. She's all right.
What is it? I mean, I can't see it.
But she's all right.
Dr. Relling! Hedvig's had an accident.
She's all right, isn't she? Doctor? You see, There's nothing wrong with this. I mean, there's very little blood. I mean, she'll be all right, won't she?
How did this happen?
Well, I've no idea, Doctor.
She wanted to shoot the wild duck.
You see, the pistol must have gone off in her hand.
That's it.
The forest skid her own back. Well, I'm not afraid of them.
But she... Why did you say something, Doctor?
She's shot in the breast.
Yeah, but she's going to be all right.
Surely you can see that Hedvig's dead.
No, she must live, Doctor. She must live, just so that I can tell her I loved her.
Shot must have entered the heart.
All the time.
Death must have been instantaneous.
I drove her into here. I drove her away like a wild animal, and she frightened as she came in here, and more than she shot herself for love of me. Never to be able to make it up to
No,
her.
leave that,
Never
Doctor,
to be.
leave that. No, shush.
Yeah, how can you bear it? How can you bear it?
Now. Well, she can't lie here just to be made a show of. Now, come on, Yama. Come on, help me with her. Now, gently. Pull it this way, then.
Blessed be the Lord. Earth to
Gently.
earth.
Shut up, you fool, you drunk.
Nothing will ever lead me to believe that shot was an accident.
No one can say how this terrible thing happened.
There are powder marks on the breast. She must put the muzzle to her breast and fire.
Hedvig hasn't died in vain. You saw how sorrow brought out all that is noble in him.
Most people are ennobled by the presence of death. How long do you suppose it'll last with him?
It will last all his life and grow greater.
6 months from now, little Hedvig be no more to him than an exquisite theme for declamation.
You dare say that of Hedvig Ekdal?
We'll talk about it when the first grass is withered on a grave. Then you'll hear him holding forth about the beloved child untimely ripped from her father's heart. Then you'll see him soaking himself in warm floods of sentimentality, self-pity, self-admiration. You wait and see.
If you're right and I'm wrong, then life isn't worth living.
Life wouldn't be so bad if only we were rid of people like you who keep on badgering us poor folk with the claims of the ideal.
In that case, I'm glad my destiny is what it is.
Tell me, what is your destiny?
To be 13th at table.
I can well believe it.